And then that's what they come up with over there. Don Oliver was the guy that made these here down in Stungard, Arkansas. He made 3 with Cummins, and then the rest were all
Tommy, remember me telling you about the switching gears?
Yeah. That one has to be in the same gear as this one up here. Yeah. When this one's in neutral, you're just in 2-wheel drive.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Tommy. I think it was you I was telling that to. Wasn't it, Tommy?
I was just wondering how that one you have with the 2 motors works, how they work together.
This is basically the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, if you wanted to get in a different gear, you had to get off of the tractor, put the other one in second gear, and then put this one in second gear.
This is what you're talking about right here, Tommy.
Yeah. This is probably my favorite tractor to drive around right here. If you ever here, you know, and I had this out, you know, this thing is fun to drive, you know.
I assume it's the same one.
Yeah, it's on the other side.
What miles would this for?
Probably 5 or 6, probably 6 easy, you know, and stuff like that, you know, out west there. I'm sure even around here it'd pull a 6-bottom drag plow. And you know, I bought one of these in Ohio. This one come off out in Missouri off a Moline dealer. And I got this one here home. I checked the serial number. It was consecutive serial number in my other one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you got lucky on that.
This one here is a pretty rare one right here. They only made like 26 of these. And this one has the big axles on it. Well, Moline only made 10 1050s with big axles. So this might be the only Oliver with the big axles. You know, it's hard to tell. There might be 2 or 3 of them. But yeah, they're over with the hull. They're like 9 feet wide, like, you know.
With the axles sticking out?
Yeah.
Yep. Well.
This son of a bitch had set with water in the cylinder so long, I had to take a sledgehammer and
knock the pistons
well,
loose?
I took Metaboat and cut the cylinders, you know, tried to save the pistons, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
You know, that's how I got them out. And then just got new cylinders and stuff like that.
Any liners for it?
Then I had to learn redo the seat because they had oddball seats. They were different in the Molines, you know, and stuff like that. And put other tires on the back. I had that old set of Rice tires, so I put them on there because the tires were shot on the back.
See, it looks like a pretty new set on there, anyhow.
Yeah, they're old tires. They're stiff as hell, but
that's the MM motor, ain't it?
Yeah, be the same as a 1050. Like them 1050s over there would be the same motor. And like this here tractor here would have the same motor as a 950 in it, but he told me that when they overhauled this tractor, they bored it out to a 1050. But, and then the 2155 over there, it would have a 585 in it, like a 1350.
Now, this is what you call a bubble motor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's a nice original tractor out of Colorado here. They got nice tires on it. But the tires that mostly was out west, I thought them was they were almost like an industrial tire, but they were a farm tire, you know. And then this one has the Oliver fender tanks on it, which you don't see too many of them.
No.
This one here, right here, this one here, got the Oliver fender tanks on it too. This was one of the red ones here. These tractors here, someday somebody restores this. You know, these red ones look nice too, you know.
Right.
That'd be the same as a 955 in Minneapolis.
Now, this G1000,
I'm missing something there.
Yeah, because
the solid front,
Yeah.
or the narrow front.
And the
I guess
big
that's
one,
all.
and the big fenders.
Yeah.
This be like
It
a
probably has
Wheatland
hand
or
clutch,
something.
too,
Huh?
No, it's a foot clutch.
Those foot clutch. I know the GVIs had this is more like a crossbreed between the GVI and the G1000, isn't it?
Well, there was a tractor in between it. The 705 was in there, and then once they got to the G1000, they were all together different. The 705 still had the hand clutch.
Yeah.
This here tractor here, serial number 3 here. But see, this one here, this one comes from Oklahoma. This one comes from Canada.
This is the one that's in the picture.
Yeah, that lift's holding up. This one here is got the Wheatland front end. Now, they didn't call these Wheatlands, but with the front axle, and if you look at the drawbar, they had a Wheatland always had a wider swing than a regular.
Right.
This one here comes from Hayes, Kansas, here. This one here is one somebody just painted. This is a 1355, but somebody made a 2270 out of it. But if it wasn't 2270, it would be red. Like that 1870 it's over there.
Oh, all right.
This here is probably the most powerful tractor I have right here. This here is a 200 horsepower tractor here, but it's a 1929, you know. It was
Wow.
repowered with a Cummins in it. And I'll tell you, this is a long story on this tractor. Twin City supposedly made 5 tractors with Cummins in back in 1929, like. Well, I've never seen one of them. I don't know if none of them survived or whatever, and it's too bad that they didn't go with that Cummins motor, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyhow, this guy that I bought tractors off in Colorado said, hey, I know where there's a Twin City that has a Cummins in. I said, well, see what you can find out about it, you know. And he was slow as hell. A lot of times it took him a year. But we found out that it was a 6-cylinder, so I knew it wasn't original. Well, it was in the Sandhills in Nebraska where this tractor worked. And if you look, this tire here, look how it's rounded off. The most you'll ever see a tire wore off. That was from them plowing, and this one being out in the sand, it spun it off. You look at the one on the other side, it's not.
Not. Huh.
Well, anyhow, he found it up there in Nebraska, then he lost track of it and stuff like that. Well, then he found it again in Texas. Well, then he lost track of it again, and the last time he found it was in a junkyard in Oklahoma. And it was already took apart. They cut the adapter plate, and the clutch housing was gone. So I bought it in 2 pieces. But I didn't offer as much money as they wanted because it's goddamn work realigning the goddamn thing. So I brought it all home in pieces, made a new adapter plate, and I always said, where in the hell am I going to find a clutch for this old Cummins motor, you know? When I'm bringing it back, I stop at my buddy's place in Kansas. Well, he gave me the run of the place for today because he got a job he got to do. Well, I'm looking at the old 800 Minneapolis power units. The Rockford clutch on there, bolted right on there. He give me the goddamn thing because he just junks them. When he tears them apart for tractor pullers, he junks them clutches. So I got the goddamn thing for nothing. But the pinion was bad in it. So there was a guy in Kansas had a pinion. And it had already been adapted for some tractor, so it was no good for original, you know.
Right.
So I got the pinion, and these old rear ends, they whine like heck, you know. It's kind of hard to tell if you got something right, you know, because they make so much gear noise, you know. But I figured that they had the pinion set a little bit too tight. So I had to, when I put it back together, I had to put a few more shims in here to give it, because back then things were kind of loose back in the old days, you know.
Right.
But a couple years ago, I never wanted to pull it because I was afraid I'd break something, but up at the Indiana Fair, I took and I pulled it. They wouldn't let me pull with the regular tractors because it was too heavy, because it weighs 6 tons.
Jesus.
And so when they brought the big sled in that night, they let me pull just for fun, you know. Well, I went half throttle, and that son of a bitch never died down one bit with them big gears and stuff in the back.
Mhm.
Well, with this tire, I knew this tire was going to break loose first, and you can't control the brakes because you don't have no brakes, you know, other than just like an emergency brake. You know?
Right.
So this tire here broke loose first. Then when it grabbed the hold again, it torqued that front end right off of the ground. Motor never even knew it or there was nothing there, and then kind of set back down and spun out. But this son of the torque this son of a bitch has is unbelievable.
Does it have a PTO?
No,
So it's just for pulling
right there's
stuff.
where the belt pulley would go.
Oh,
But
okay.
originally, this was the biggest tractor Twin City made back in the day. It was a 2744. And back in the day, it was a big tractor. But the
Yeah.
thing is about it, when I take this tractor to a show, any place, this tractor will get more attention than any restored tractor at the show.
Right.
Because everybody's coming up and they're caught, you watch them, they've got their head caught, they're trying to read this Cummins thing here, you know.
I never knew they put a Cummins in them.
Well, they did, you know, it's just a farmer application, you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
Yeah, that green 2270 over there, right there is what it should look like, right there, you know.
Okay.
Now see, there's a 1350 that was sold up in Canada. No 3-point hitch or nothing, it would have just been a Wheatland, you know.
Yeah.
Just a plain chain tractor.
Just meant to pull, that's it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's what a Wheatland tractor was made to do.
Here's an Oliver here, these two here. The
The
1865,
camera's focused.
that one we looked at over there was a flat nose. This is a bubble nose. They only made 9 of these with the bubble nose on them. $13.55 here. This tractor runs, but if you was going to go out and do anything with it, you'd have to overhaul it. It's getting,
Pretty bad.
yeah, it runs, but you know, you get got a bunch of blow-by on it.
No,
Right.
this over here, this 1865, that's not a bubble nose.
No, that's
that's
the one
flat
that's a
nose.
consecutive serial number to that one that's over
Over
there.
there.
Yeah.
I said it's definitely better to walk around with a guided tour, Glenn.
Yeah, you learn so much more about it.
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting there and saying, look at this.
Yeah, because me and Nick walked through here, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. What is-
That's a
what-
cockshaw there with a diesel.
This is a cock shot?
Yeah. Be the same as an Oliver, but
It has a Detroit in it.
yeah.
Okay.
And it needs overhauled. It runs, but it smokes pretty bad.
Oh, didn't all
Well,
the Detroits do
I was
that?
going to say, isn't that a Detroit thing?
Yeah.
Screaming Detroits.
This here is the first Molina I ever had right here. This is the one I used to tractor for. It's hard to tell by looking at this tractor. This one here kicked everybody's ass right here.
See, Ray Jacob had a G1000, and I'm telling you, he had a straight pipe on it.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter where he was at in Brush Valley, we knew where he was
Yeah.
at. And you could tell what he was doing, too.
Yeah. Well, this tractor here, what's kind of crazy about it, it has 230 over pistons, it has 260 over, it has 290 over in it. And it held together all these years.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah.
And then this was the second one I bought. This is the one that got me into collecting Moleens. Like, I seen a picture of one of these and said, I have to have one of them. And this Christ, I got a bunch of them now. The tan ones and the four-wheel drive. This one here, I just brought this one back from Montana one time. It runs, but it needs overhauled. You know, that one I used to tractor pull with that one there. It's good to go there.
Right.
And then these are 5-star standards. This is the diesel. Somebody tried to restore it, and then this is a gas, and I never got a propane one. And they were just El Cheapos. No 3-point hitch. They were just for drag and stuff.
Camera's focused.
No.
Yeah, these are just the little versions of them.
Focus, there we go.
Yeah.
Camera's focused.
A
I swear it's out of
660.
focus again.
I've never heard of a 660 in Nashville.
Well, they were out west, but this one here is very, very special. Here, you wait till you walk up and look it over a little bit. You tell me what's different about this 660.
Well, we know you use it because it's right at the
Wow.
door.
Yeah, that's it. That's what makes it worth a little bit. If it was just a regular 660, it wouldn't be worth nothing to mount anything.
Oh,
And this tractor here is you can't find a better original 660 or 560 in this tractor. Look at these fenders on this thing.
Perfect.
I've tried to keep oil on it, because when I brought it home, this here was perfect shine bare metal sitting outside in Montana. And it has rust a little bit, but I can kind of keep some stuff on it.
Right.
But this tractor is really straight.
You know they made a 660.
Yeah, I've seen them here before. Yeah, Bella
Yeah.
one, though.
Yeah. And what's neat about the ones that are, they were Wheatlands. All they were was a 560 with the motor turned up at higher RPMs. So that just meant that they wore out quicker, you know.
Right.
But this tractor here with these smaller tires on the back, this thing really has a really super slow gear, and you can almost, it wasn't for the old Fordsons and stuff like that don't even move, you know.
Yeah.
It goes pretty slow.
That's something.
Is this the one that four-wheel drive works off the belt pulley?
Yeah. And then
Really?
Uh-huh.
the 940, they only made 25 of these, 23 of them two-wheel drive and 2 of them four-wheel drive. And both of my buddies have the four-wheel drive ones. But this is a good dollar tractor here.
Yeah, step over there, you can see how their four-wheel drive works. Off the belt pulley.
You know, I think I read an article on this. Not a seen
They put them under 460s and 560s, even a Farm OM. You could get a kit to put them under a Farm OM too.
Because didn't the belt pulley or something, you could change the speed of it to match what gear you was in or something?
Yeah, and that same gearbox pretty much run the cotton. When they had the cotton pickers on them, they kind of used that same
Thing.
thing for that. But Elwood, the guy that did the first Molings, he's the guy that come up with all that, you know. These goddamn rubber boots on these things. That's why this is off here. I had one up here leaking, so I started to change them. Now I'm back to the last one. Them son of a bitch and boots that they make today for them return lines. You put them on in 2 years, they're junk
They're
again.
junk. They don't make stuff like they used to.
Got it too.